it is my honor to present the first annual Jefferson Award for Outstanding Public Service benefiting the New York community to Jessica Nauiokas.
So I wouldn't be a school leader if I didn't forget to thank Multiplying Good for giving me the unfortunate place of going after the Harlem School of the Arts. The students represented, I think, what our future holds and what we hope youth will do in multiplying good for our future. So thank you guys for that. A quick thank you again to the Board of Selectors for Multiplying Good for giving me this honor. I am humbled to be here today, particularly in front of some of my colleagues, school leaders, teachers that have helped me start Haven Academy over the years. But I do think it's important to recognize that last night, over 10,000 students in New York City were considered in foster care. Last spring, 115,000 children were identified by New York City Public Schools as being homeless. And that means 1 in 10 students in public school goes home to a shelter at night, and they call that home. And well-intentioned educators, well-intentioned teachers show up to work every day and do their best to meet the needs of the students in front of them, but they really haven't been prepared and aren't given the structures necessary to be able to serve the needs of kids who have been victims of trauma and abuse. So 12 years ago, the New York Foundling set out to do things a little differently. And we identified a location in the South Bronx where we said if we could create a school experience, a haven, a safe haven for students to come to when they're in foster care, when they're living in shelters, when they're receiving prevention services because of an instance of abuse or neglect, we have the opportunity to give them one stable place to go, to grow, and to learn, despite the number of moves they have in their life, despite the chaos they experience at home. And so that's what we've done. Fast forward 12 years, we had no roadmap to do what we're doing. We knew that it would take just as much energy on our social emotional curriculum, our trauma-informed environment, as it would on our academic work. And as a result of those efforts, our students are thriving. I'm proud to say that our students surpass the local students in the South Bronx, double and triple their scores. But that's not enough. They also beat the New York City school students in their ELA and math test last year, and that's not enough. Thank you. Thank you. But their path is long, and the road along it is very rocky. And so I'm proud to lead a group of educators that really understands that it's our job to give them that one stable experience. This morning, a student who I'll call Lee stepped into my office and said, "Ms. Nauiokas, I need to have a meeting with you." So after our agreed upon time, she came to my office and she said, "You need to fire my teacher." And so I asked questions, I listened, and she had valid points to why her teacher should be fired, why the assistant principal should be fired, why the behavior consultant should be fired, why the social worker should be fired. I asked her for her evidence, and she stated her evidence. But what I know is that Lee is experiencing a lot of transition in her life. She's been in foster care for all the years since she can remember, and she's been living with one foster parent since she was the age of 2. And most recently, she's had to transition back to her biological family, and it didn't go well, and now she's going back into foster care. And so her world is being turned upside down. And each day when she walks into the doors of Haven Academy, she knows she can predict the routines, she knows she can predict what her teachers and the assistant principal and the behavior specialist will say to her, and she's fighting for control. And right now, her way to control her world is to tell me to fire them. But in all seriousness, I recognize that if Lee had been in any other school across New York City, in some other city, in some other town, in some other state, she likely would have been identified as a student with a lot of behavior problems. She likely would have been sent to special education schools and received a whole host of services for something that adults caused in her world. Her issues are not that she has special needs. Her issues are not that she can't learn in a traditional setting. Her issues are that adults have let her down. And so I'm proud. I'm proud to lead a team of educators, thanks to our board and our generous donors and supporters over the years. But we lead a team of educators that understand that it's not fair for children who adults have let down to be let down by schools. And so we do our best to multiply good by making sure Haven Academy can be that safe haven for students as they work on becoming do-gooders in the future. So thank you very much for this award. I'm very humbled and grateful. Thank you.